Hello, and welcome back to Natural State Bonsai. Today we're going to be working on some Portulacarias. Um, we have about 50 of them actually I'm going to be working on. And I'm going to work on them for several different reasons. First off, it's a balmy 53 degrees here in north central Arkansas. And one of the reasons that I want to go ahead and get started on these now is because the weather is starting to turn. And I am going to keep these in my cold house this year. The reason being that last year I kept them in my garage. And even though my garage mostly stayed above 40 degrees, on a couple of really cold days, it got down much colder and the garage went down into the low 30s. And so I lost a lot of leaves, even lost a few ports. I've obviously made up for that since that time. At any rate, I'm not going to take the chance on the garage getting colder than 40 degrees because that's a temperature that the Portulacarias can actually tolerate. So this year I'm going to go ahead and trim all these things back and go ahead and uh, trim them back because I want to ramify them at some point. I want to trim them back so I can get them in my cold house. I want to trim them back because I've let them grow all summer long and it's time for them to be trimmed back. And then finally, the other reason I want to trim them all back is because it's time for a video. So with all the things that are going on with all of these Portulacarias, I'm going to get started on them. And I will be using some time lapse in this video so you don't have to go through the torture of watching me trim and cut back all 50 or 60 of these Portulacarias. Um, let's get started on them right away. And just to give you an idea of really what I'm dealing with here, here are most of my large Portulacarias. And I'll do a few of those on camera and I'll do some time lapse on those. But those are my larger ones. I also have some more over here that I will take care of and trim those back also. And then if you'll look over here, I have some more Portulacarias that will be trimmed back. Another tray of Portulacarias that'll get trimmed back. And this entire group of Portulacarias here are all Frank Yee Portulacarias. They're rough bark Portulacarias. And so this is almost all of my Portulacarias, but I do have a few more. And so these are the ones that I've kind of already trimmed back. And you can see that most of these are of the Lilliput variety. And then a few cuttings there. Not that I need any more cuttings. So let's get started on getting these pruned back and styled a little bit, and we'll see the progress that I make. The first port that I'm going to work on is my oldest and probably I've had it the longest. I've probably had this Portulacaria for probably close to 5 years, 6 years. It's been trunk chopped probably 2 or 3 times. And so we're just going to probably do some really major chopping on this today. And all of this, most of this growth has come throughout the summer here. So I'm just going to start cutting back. And on this particular port, I don't plan on keeping any cuttings from it. And most of the cutting I'm doing is going to be kind of random here at first. But once I get it cut back, then I'll start figuring out which branches I really want to get rid of. And which ones I want to keep. I will cut any down-facing branches, obviously, and any like vertical branches that go straight up, like this one right here. I got to tell you, pruning Doesn't really bother me at all. But when you start pruning these things for as much as I'm pruning off, it does get a little scary. So starting to get this cut back a little bit now. I did clean my scissors with quartz. You probably need to clean your scissors before you start using them after you've used it on other trees. So I've done that. Okay, so I got a lot going on in here. We're getting close to where I'm going to starting to have to make some decisions. I'm going to find my front here. Let's see what I wanted. I think I wanted that as my front. So this branch right here, probably these two branches need to go. Or actually, I think I'm just going to cut that back, cut this back. That off. That back. Okay, starting to see a little development here. I think these branches are too close together. Close enough for now. That'll dry up over the winter time, and I can cut that back a little bit more. Another one on the inside here. Again, like I said, I'm going to cut this back quite a bit. Let's see. Don't like the way that's looking right there. I think I want to get rid of this right here. And I'm going to leave this for now. I may take it off in the spring. I think I am going to take this one off. So I told you I was going to cut these back quite a bit. Again, I cut this one back even further than this last year, and you saw how it come back. So I'm hoping I can get some more of the branches that I like better in the area. I really didn't even worry about my front last year, and so this year, next spring, I'll really start to try to style this a lot more. Okay, cut this back. Cut this back. That limb right there. Okay. So, it's actually starting to rain on me a little bit. But that's all right. We're going to keep going. I don't think I want that. Okay, I believe, let's see, I think I want this cut back a little bit. We're going to leave it right there. Here's our second port that we're going to work on. This is actually a cutting off or part of a trunk chop or a limb chop off of the port that I just trimmed up. So let's get started on this one. And you can see, again, this was cut way back. And you can see the amount of growth that I got just over the summer. This is probably only the second year on this particular port. And I know I'm going very fast on these, but when you have 50 of them to do, it's probably a good idea to go as fast as you can. Again, ports are really kind of more of the, I don't spend as much time on these as I do my other trees. And so I don't mind chopping them every once in a while, cutting them back, watching them grow. It's kind of fun to watch them grow. We're going to cut this one way back. If you want to see, I may use that as a cutting. We'll throw that over there. There we go. That's a little long. That one's facing down. That one's still too long. Actually, that's an inside branch. I don't want it at all. So if I started to look for some sort of front on this, wow. I haven't given myself many options for a front. Actually, that long limb probably can go. So, I believe we're going to take that one off too. And we've got another one cleaned up. And we'll go get our next one. We're ready to start on our next one. This is actually a Frank Yee Portulacaria, or some people call it a rough bark Portulacaria. And this is, I chopped this trunk down and made quite a few cuttings on the ones that you saw on the tray earlier. So let's trim this one up a little bit. Again, I'm not going to keep any of these Frank Yee cuttings. They can be fairly desirable. They do take a while for the cork bark to show up, and I'm getting all these off of the main trunk there, and so I've let this grow, as I said, all summer. And it's responded really well. Once I chopped the trunk, within about a month, it really started growing out well. I'm going to chop it right there and right there. And that's all there is to this one right here. We'll get our next port. Okay, this is a pretty special Portulacaria right here. I've let it grow all summer long. Initially, it was only about this big. And it is a rough bark, and it does have rough bark. And we'll see that once I get through trimming it. I haven't touched it all summer long. I've really been scared about trimming this one, but I am going to cut it back quite a bit so that I can start to worry about styling it next spring. And we'll get started on it now. I'm going to cut back. You can see how many long limbs this right here had. This is the summer. I probably would save some of these cuttings, or save them for cuttings, but it's not, and I need to get them in my greenhouse or cold house, whatever you want to call it. See, that's facing down. And I've even got a lot of suckers down here, as you can see. I'll worry about the top first before I get down there. And I am going to keep the top of this for a cutting because it's so long. Keep that one. Probably won't keep that one. What I may do, let's see. All right, so cut this off here. Cut this off here. Here. Right there. Okay, so let me get some of these off of here. Some of these smaller growths. And they can just be rubbed off, and they come off pretty easy. And they don't leave any scars when you do it like this. So, we're getting down now to where you can see the rough bark on these trees. On this tree, I mean. Let's see here. And I have another cutting in the back of this growing. I'm just going to leave it. Oh, I'm going to cut it back too. Okay. I am going to chop right here. And in order to do that, I'm going to need my pruners. Okay. So we're going to go right here. And I will be saving that right there. Since that's a Frank Yee, that could be a nice little cutting right there. I think I've about damaged this one enough. I'm going to leave all that. Okay. There we go. There's the Frank Yee cork bark Portulacaria. If you want to see a close-up on that, I can show you that. There's what it looks like. All right. I'll put this one up and we'll start on the next one. Okay, I think the next few we'll go through time lapse and as I'm doing these, and I'll see you on the other side. This is a Portulacaria that I made up for the veterinarian that I use for our beagle. And the, the veterinarian, one of the veterinarians, the one that works on my dog, Devin, she's a horse lover. So I made her a little Portulacaria uh, pinging sort of thing that she can keep in her office. And so what I do is about every 2 to 3 months, since it's inside and it's not next to a window, I go in, pick it up, replace it with another Portulacaria and or an elm, Chinese elm sometimes, and and then regrow this one back out. This one, when I got it, it didn't have any leaves back on it. That was probably back in July, and you can see that it's responded very well to being outdoors. And so they really enjoy having this there, especially with little horsey in there. So let's get this one pruned up. I'll probably go a little slower on this one, since I may end up taking it back to the vet's office when I get done with it at some point. They've got one in there now that's only been in there for about a month, so I'm probably not going to take it back immediately. So we'll do a little trimming on this one. I let it grow completely out, and it got really bushy. So a lot of internal branching, it looks like now. And it's kind of gotten leggy, to be honest. I may cut it back more than I really may not be able to take this one back till next year. Downward facing, downward facing. And you can see some of the leaves actually come back fairly large. And that's probably because it was struggling so much. Let's see, I want to keep that branch over the top of it. Looks like it's going to be in my possession for a little while. Yeah, I think so. I will leave it a little longer than I did some of the others, but I am cutting it back pretty good. Underneath, that's underneath. Cut that one back completely. I'll leave that. That's facing downward. And I think I'm not going to do a whole lot on this one. This one on the side here is actually a lily put, and it was completely bare also. So they kind of both reacted exactly the same way in the environment that the veterinary office has got. And I'm going to leave that alone for now. My wife actually had this one in her office, but she retired in March, and her office also had no windows at all. So when she retired, I brought this home. Again, when I brought it home, it was barely hanging on. It had no leaf whatsoever. A lot of the branches had already died off, and so we brought it home in March. It's been outside all summer long, and it's come back pretty well. So she enjoyed having it up there. When you put them in an environment where they don't have any light, they usually can last a couple, 3 months before they start to drop their leaves. So we'll continue cutting this one back a little bit. And again, I'm rubbing off the ones that are on the bottom there that are easier just to rub off than it is to cut them. Let's see, move this out of the way of my bear. Don't want my bear getting covered up. That one's facing down. Got a sucker down here. Got it. Okay. Facing backwards. Another sucker down here. Got it. Got it. When you let them grow all summer, a lot of what you're doing is you're kind of just cutting back to find out where you're at on the tree itself. Next year, I will try to spend a little bit more time on these. I probably will knock my collection down to about half of what it is now. I like giving these away at our club meetings, and plus it gives people something to do in the wintertime. And I did take some in last year and do some pruning on them during the wintertime, and that gave me something to do instead of just sitting there watching football games all day long. Nothing wrong with that either. Okay, so let me think what we want to do here. I'm thinking I'm going to repot this next year, and so what we'll do is this is going to be my front. I got two branches here that are, I think I'm going to cut this one off. Here we go. Now I'm going to cut this back, and that back, and that back, and this back. All right. I think I'm going to make that my front. Put the bear over here like this when it grows out.
2 hours later.